Candidates for next year's presidential elections have signed the Peace Pact, an agreement promising to run peaceful campaigns. And the National Peace Committee has appealed to candidates and their parties to respect electoral laws before, during, and after the elections. Arise correspondent Chinasa Samuel reports.
This is the first peace accord signing ceremony prelude to the 2023 general election. If past experience is anything to go by, getting candidates' commitment to peace is crucial to the success of elections. As the campaigns progress, more agreements are likely to be signed to make sure the candidates remain committed to peace. Here, presidential candidates for the 2023 election signed a peace pact committing to the peaceful conduct of political campaigns and rallies across the country. Present at the accord signing ceremony include the presidential candidates of the main opposition People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, Rabiu Kwankwaso of the New Nigerian People's Party, Peter Obi of the Labour Party. APC's presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was conspicuously absent at the event, was represented by his running mate Kashim Shettima, alongside party chairman Abdullahi Adamu. Admonitions by the chairman of the Peace Committee, General Abdusalami Abubakar, to the candidates and their supporters are simply to prioritize peace, shun violence and focus on issue-based campaigns.
I'm appealing to the political parties, party chairmen, candidates and their spokesperson to please campaign on the basis of issues that are of significant concern to Nigerians. Please avoid the spread of fake news, personal attacks and insults, and comply with the spirit and letter of the accord.
The event also availed Nigeria's electoral body INEC as well as the Nigerian police force the opportunity to remind political actors of the need to abide by the rules of the game in line with the provisions of the Electoral Act or face sanctions.
The Independent National Electoral Commission will vigorously monitor compliance to ensure that parties shun abusive, intemperate or slanderous language, as well as insinuations or innuendos likely to provoke a breach of the peace during the electioneering campaigns.
I have already directed all the commissioners of police across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT to meet with the leadership of all political parties and the resident electoral commissioners in their states towards mutually evolving the campaign schedules in a manner that will address possible cross-party conflicts in terms of date, time, and venue.
Some candidates, however, expressed confidence in the ability of the electoral body to conduct free, fair, and acceptable elections.
In the course of campaign, we should be mindful of what we say and be able to equally control our supporters and encourage them, not to be violent and know how to talk and to campaign for us.
Let's keep hope alive. The election will conduct free and fair, where every vote counts, and create a good atmosphere for people to also to vote, because there's this agitation that part of Nigerians are complaining of insecurity.
Politicians must not exploit the weaknesses of our people in the way and manner that has made vote buying part of our culture. We hope that with the penalties already spelled out by the chairman of INEC's speech and the IG, that those who compromise the process will face the wrath of the law.
With the signing of this peace accord by presidential candidates and their party chairman, there is hope that the pre-election, election and post-election actions and all trances of political actors will be guided by a sense of responsibility. Chinasa Samuel, Arise News.
Right, President Muhammadu Buhari says the signing of the peace accord with Goodluck Jonathan and other presidential candidates in 2015 contributed to the peaceful outcome of the polls. Buhari met the National Peace Committee at the State House, where he urged all signatories to the 2023 Peace Pact to abide by its content and spirit.
It is my privilege to warmly welcome members of the National Peace Committee. As you are all aware, signing the National Peace Committee Accord is aimed at committing political parties, aspirants, and their supporters to conduct their campaigns in a peaceful manner, devoid of ethnic, religious, and hate speeches that could mar the year 2023 general elections. The timing of the first National Peace Accord is significant, considering political party campaigns have already commenced in the country. The initiatives undertaken by the National Peace Committee are commendable, as these efforts would ensure issue-based campaigns.
Meanwhile, presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has come under criticism for not showing up at the signing. In a viral video, AAC's Omoyele Sowore argues that Tinubu should have signed the peace pact himself instead of being represented by his running mate. Sowore says it is inappropriate for Tinubu to seek election into the presidential office but be absent at the first signing of the peace pact. He kicked against Tinubu's running mate Kashim Shettima sitting alongside other presidential candidates during the event.
I confronted him, why is he sitting here when Tinubu is not here? You understand? If I was sitting there, I would not stand up for him. Because Tinubu is the one who's supposed to be here. You can't be running Nigeria for presidency in absentia. No, I'm part of the truth.
I'm sure I stood by what I stood for yesterday and tomorrow.
It's the same thing I stood for because I was a student union leader when you guys were rampaging the country.
That doesn't matter.
It does matter.
All right, Dr. Bati, a lot to chat about this morning, quite full.
Okay, where do I start from? Let me start from Showore's objection to the absence of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress at the signing of the peace accord. Well, I don't think there's a big issue there. Under Section 141 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 141 creates the office of the Vice President. And what it says, in parentheses, in parts, is that the Vice President can act in the absence of the President. So, in another section of the Constitution, it is also well stated that it's a joint ticket that the VP and the President that they run. So it's a joint ticket. In other words, if one is not available, the other can represent him. They are not yet in the APC, President and Vice President of Nigeria, but there's nothing wrong, in my view, in Shettima representing his principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the signing of that peace accord, which is in itself, yes, a very meaningful ceremony, a very symbolic ceremony. What will have been the issue? Would have been if the APC was completely absent at that ceremony. But Tinubu being represented by Shettima, I don't think it's to no issue, in my view. I may be wrong. Other people may put up an argument. But if we're running a joint ticket, then of course it means one can represent the other. Even the Constitution says so in actuality, not even at the level of symbolism. So, but Sowore is a revolutionary, and he will say, oh, you should not be sitting there and all that. Okay, that's protocol. Protocol is different from the actual issue, because I listened to that tape. He also talked about where Kashim Shettima was sitting. Okay, he could complain about protocol, but he cannot complain about the fact that a running mate can represent the principal. Now, to the actual event itself, I would like to congratulate the National Peace Committee, led by General Abdulsalami Abubakar, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, the Sultan of Sokoto, and Cardinal John Onayeka, and others, who since 2014, have been saying that, look, candidates have to sign a peace accord. They have to give peace a chance. And I speak as someone who was part of that initial process. I had to approve the statement that was signed by President Goodluck Jonathan at that time. I had to take the first look at it before I took it to the president. And consistently, you know, the National Peace Accord Committee has, you know, been preaching this message that there should be peace, there should be brotherliness, that those who are seeking political positions should conduct themselves like gentlemen. And General Abubakar made the point that, look, everybody must give peace a chance. That this is not a war, this is just an election, a general election, and that the bigger interest should be that of Nigeria. So this is the first accord that we have had yesterday. And it's interesting also that other stakeholders have been brought in. I saw, you know, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, you know, also now a member of that peace committee. I saw civil society being brought in. Hidayat Hassan, you know, was in the video that the body released. I saw also Mr. Femi Otedola, you know, who is also part of it. These are persons who represent big constituencies and who can use their influence, you know, to ensure that, look, we have a peaceful conduct in terms of the elections. So it's good to see that the National Peace Committee has grown and that politicians are buying into the idea. As I said, this is the first peace accord. There will be another one, a second peace accord, just before the meeting. Now, last week, Thursday, when General Abdulsalami Abubakar first spoke about this, he also talked about spokespersons, agents of the political parties and the candidates. Yeah, the principals can sign the peace accord, but they need to send the message down the line. And I'm just hoping that maybe we can tweak the template a little bit to ensure that in the second accord, the spokespersons are also brought in, the agents are brought in, so that they too can sign the peace accord, because they are the real problem. The digital mob, I call them the mob, the rascals on social media, who are busy making enemies for their principals. I know how the game works, you know. After all, we recruited these persons too, you know, in our time and after. You know, you pay them a little money. They just go there. Their job is just to go and be rabble-rousing on social media.
So you pay them in your time, Dr. Abat?
Well, don't worry.
Revelation school.
Trade secrets. Trade secret. You know, so they get paid. Yeah, they get paid a little money, you know, to motivate them. But they overdo it. So their managers also must come to the table and know that, look, Nigeria comes first. We ran a campaign at the time about Nigeria coming first. Yeah. And that was the basis, the fundamental, you know, basis of our effort at that time. But these ones, they don't care about Nigeria. They go about on social media abusing people, making enemies for their principal, just talking absolute rubbish. And I think we will get to a point, and that's what I'm suggesting to the National Peace Accord Committee, where surrogates also have to be brought to the table to, at least, if they are human beings, if they are willing to subject themselves to humanity and to confess to being human, you know, to say that, look, we're not, this is not politics of hate. This is not politics of division. This is not about misinformation. This is not about disinformation. Sometimes some of the things I see, some of those characters writing, I wonder whether, in fact, you know, they are human beings. And whether, in fact, they can live with that reality if they were to be identified beyond anonymity. But as for the symbolism of faith and all of that, you know, the principals who signed the accord yesterday should cascade this objective, the motive, the message, down to the persons who supported them. Everybody spoke well. They all struck the right notes, from the Inspector General of Police to the chairman of INEC, to the president delivering a solidarity message and later meeting with the peace committee. All these messages are in the right place. What Nigerians expect is peaceful election. It's an election that will be projected at the level of decency, of civility, and common sense. This country belongs to all of us. If you elect the wrong person, we will all suffer the damage. And the election will not be won by abuse. It will be won, by the choice of the people of Nigeria.
And it's a good point. Let the people speak. And let everybody or any person seeking political office be accountable to the people. And that's why I don't think it's good optics for the candidate of the APC not to be at that peace accord yesterday. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right sending in his vice presidential candidate, because Nigerians are not voting for his vice presidential candidate. They're voting for him. And Bola Tinubu being there will have gone a long way for the right optics, for what this is all about. This campaign is about peace. It's about debating the issues. And it's about also being accountable to the Nigerian people. I would hope that in the final peace accord before the elections itself, he will have to be there in person. And I'll give you an instance, Dr. Bati. I remember in 2014, 2015, when the temperature for elections were so high, and it was the day for signing of that peace accord between President Muhammadu Buhari and Goodluck Jonathan. I will never forget that scene. As President Muhammadu Buhari entered the room, Goodluck Jonathan saw him and ran to him and hugged him and said, "Welcome, sir. Good to see you, sir." That sent a message of peace all over the country. And that's what the peace accord is all about. So it's not a good sign that Bola Tinubu is not there at the start of the peace accord. The other story is about APC in-house fighting. All the political parties too are fighting. The PDP has its own scandal that is heating it now about bribery. The APC has its own problems as regards constitution of the campaign council. That the president, the chairman of the party was said to have written a letter. Anyway, he's come out to debunk it that he didn't write such letter. But whoever wrote the letter, something is obvious that everything is not right in the fold of the APC. And I keep wondering how these legacy parties are going to fix their problem leading up to campaign. Campaign has started now. 2 days in, the APC, no one big rally. The PDP, yes, inaugurated their own campaign council. The Labour Party, the only one that has had a rally in Jos. The ADC has released their campaign timeline. YPP, nothing yet I've heard from them. Other political parties, I saw the AA candidate yesterday, which happens to be Mustafa yesterday there. We've not heard anything about their campaign. We've not heard anything about the other 18 parties' political campaign. And we're asking, are these guys really serious with Nigerians? You want to lead a country of over 200 million people. 18 people, your front runners. And now we have not even seen you hit the ground running. Maybe next week, activities will start full swing. Maybe next 2 weeks, I might not know. Maybe they might have a strategy up their sleeves. But it's better now they start putting everything on the table and hitting the ground running as regards, campaigning out there and talking to Nigerians about the issue. As we speak now, it's still scandal everywhere. And this is not a good sign. It just shows that when Nigerians look at it, they say, okay, most of these guys are not ready, Probably nobody has done the big rally. Only the Labour Party. I think the Labour Party too is having another one in Lagos tomorrow, if I'm correct on that. And they've had one in Jos. Only the Labour Party have done 2 big rallies. Hit the ground running as we started. PDP would like to see your timetable. APC would like to see your timetable, your rally timetable. Let's have the big rally. Then also, all of you must appear, please. I beg. I'm not instructing anybody. I don't have the powers to. For the debates. Please, I beg you all, President, debate in front of Nigerians. Debate yourself. Let Nigerians see who you are. Everybody must appear. It's not a case of sending any surrogates to debate. You must be able to defend it for Nigerians. Okay. Speaking of...
Can I add a footnote?
Yes, sir.
To the point about optics, yes, I can't disagree with optics. Tinubu should have been there. But I still insist that within the purview of the law, I think it's section 187, subsection 2 of the Constitution, and section 142(21) of the Constitution. The presidential race is a joint ticket. One can represent the other. And the principle in law is called a jus accrescendi, which means that if one is not available, the other can represent the other one. They've not won the election yet, as I said, but I do not see anything wrong in Kashim Shettima, representing his principal. But as you said, okay, optics. It would have been nice if Tinubu was there. But he's not there. He's in London. We have seen pictures of him being in London. But if it's a joint ticket, the other person can stand in. That's the whole idea. It's for the Nigerian people to now decide whether that is wrong or not. Optics, yes, I agree with you. But as to the legality of it, there's nothing wrong.
Okay. A scandal has hit the National Executive of the People's Democratic Party as 3 members of the party's National Working Committee have returned a combined sum of 93.6 million naira, said to have been paid into their bank account allegedly by the Yocha Ayu-led leadership of the party with no explanation. In separate letters written to refund various sums of money seen by Arise TV, the Deputy National Chairman Taufik Arapaja, National Vice Chairman South Dan Obi, and National Women Leader Professor Stella Afoto said that they could not explain the source of the money or what it is meant for. While one of them claimed it was supposed to be for a 2-year housing allowance, Arapaja got 36 million naira of the said money, while Obi and Efa Ato got 28.8 million naira each. The developments on the heels of the alarm raised on Wednesday by members that the scandal was brewing to embarrass the party's national chairman, Ayu, and ultimately the presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. A number of questions are now being raised. Did the 3 forward an account to receive the payment? When was the payment made? Why was it returned now? And was the payment only made to those identified as allies of Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, who has insisted that Ayu must go? Questions, questions, questions. The Supreme Court has affirmed Senator Ademola Adeleke as the People's Democratic Party candidate in the just concluded Osun governorship election. The Apex Court dismissed a suit of former governorship aspirant Priest Dotun Babayemi. Justice Amina Agay, who delivered the judgment, said the appeal was filed out of time and the court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain it. Dr. Bati, these 2 issues.
Okay, I mean, the Osun case. Yeah, I just heard you now saying that the case was filed out of time and that the court lacked jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is, at the very heart of the judicial process. If you violate jurisdiction, it can be invoked before, during, and after judicial process. And if jurisdiction is an issue, it nullifies the entire process. So the position that the Supreme Court has taken is a very technical one. And also, election petitions are sui generis. Mm-hmm. It means that they are in a class of their own. They are guided by certain rules. So if it is also said that the petition was filed out of time, that's also a technical point. But the Supreme Court, is the apex court of the land. Once it rules, its position stands. Only the Supreme Court can reverse itself. It cannot be reversed by any other court. Mm-hmm. And so the position of the law at this moment is that the Supreme Court has upheld the PDP candidacy of, Adeleke in the Osun State gubernatorial election. And what it means, invariably also, is that given the outcome of that election, he is the validly, legally, elected, governor in the last election of the Osun gubernatorial process. So not surprising that there has been jubilation in the PDP camp, in the Adeleke camp, that they have succeeded at the Supreme Court. Was it Michael Zekome who wrote a piece who said that, look, after the Supreme Court, you can only appeal to God. Mm. So it will appear, going by that line of reasoning, that the matter of the Osun State gubernatorial election has been settled. And, Ademola Adeleke is clearly confirmed as the winner of that election. Whether the reasons adduced by the Supreme Court are technical or substantive. Now, going beyond all of that, there was tension in Osun State yesterday. I read stories indicating that, the Inspector General of Police called out his troops to ensure that there will be no breakdown of law and order on account of this ruling by the Supreme Court and the expectations of it. But I think the morning after, Osogbo remains calm and the state remains calm, which means that more or less the people think that, the Supreme Court's ruling aligns with their own expectations. Mm. And I think it's important that gladiators in the political process take their cue from this as follows, that they do not take the law into their hands, because the democratic process allows for the exhaustion of the process. And you can exhaust the process. You can go to court, you can present your grievances, you can put the court on notice and all of that, and then the process is exhausted, within the boundaries of the rule of law. And we hope that the future elections that we expect in 2023 will follow exactly the same pattern, and that persons would behave in a responsible manner. There was a story you raised about the PDP, about a total of 122.4 million naira, having been paid to certain principal officers of the National Working Committee. Some of them got 36 million, some of them got 28 million, and then somehow the story became public knowledge, and everybody is returning the money and say, no, this 36 million that I saw, where is it coming from? This 28 million, where did it come from? Okay, if the story had not become public knowledge, would they have done so? Or they would just have collected the money and kept quiet? Okay? So the point we keep making is about the fact that, yes, political parties are also obligated under the law and morally also to ensure internal democracy, to abide by the principles of transparency and accountability. And the relevant questions have been raised by commentators on the subject. How did their bank accounts, become available? Did they supply the bank accounts? Well, I assume that members of the National Working Committee collect sitting allowances, and that in that regard, the system will have their bank accounts. But at what point did they suddenly discover that, their accounts had been credited with so much money? We're told that it's a rent stipend. Well, to poor people, to ordinary people, 36 million, 28 million will look like too much of a rent stipend for a party official. So it explains why there is so much desperation for some of these positions, both at the party level and the general public level. I don't think that the party has offered a very concrete, explanation yet of how this happened. What everyone is holding up onto is the fact that this is a season drama. How do you and Tundu and MK Abiola yourself put it? Season film drama.
Season film drama.
Yeah, so you get a lot of drama from different directions, and this is part of that drama. Okay, would this damage the party? I don't think so. They will find a way of resolving it. They will find a way of explaining it away. Maybe somebody will come on the program later today and explain it away. That members of the National Working Committee are so privileged that they can receive up to 36 million or 28 million. But behind that will be the allegation raised earlier by Nyesom Wike, the governor of Rivers State, about how, look, the National Working Committee is just interested in sharing money. There was that standing allegation about how the chairman of the party got 1 billion naira, which was not responded to. Okay, is this the National Working Committee members' share of that 1 billion? The questions hang in the air. But what we expect is that those who want to leave Nigeria must also be, like Caesar's wives, above board.
I mean, one thing is certain, it just shows what goes on amongst our political parties. And it's not only in the PDP this is happening, across board. It's the person that this revelation comes out that we all hold. Today, it's the PDP we're looking at. One thing is certain, that this will not go away. And this just feeds into the narrative against the PDP all this while. And against that Wike narrative, although some people have argued that, it's because of what Wike is doing now, trying to, destroy and pull apart the party. But this came to the fore because there was a prior story of an allegation of bribery. And we should not miss that fact. And all of a sudden, people are beginning to return money. Yes, it will be a very tedious work to try to link both. In fact, you must have skills better than Hercule Poirot to be able to link that bribery allegation talked about hitherto, and this money's returned. I've also spoken to some people in the PDP, and they say, oh, it's a normal thing. They normally get housing allowance. In fact, somebody that once served in the capacity of NWC, formerly, said he got his own alert at that point in time. Question is, why is this different? Is this how they normally do it? Is this a normal convention? We will see. But it just feeds into that narrative that all is not well in the PDP. And it's because of the blocks fighting, the Wike bloc and the other bloc fighting, your Chayu bloc trying to gain dominance in this political party. But what we should concern ourselves with will be the policies that they want to bring forward when they start campaign. So I advise them, it's best they get on the campaign trail, put out their policies, and ensure their candidate attends the debate and debate these ideas in front of people. Honestly, I'm really concerned about the debate because people that want to lead Nigeria have a right to come out and tell us what they will do in series of political debate leading up to the election. Secondly, good one on Adeleke. This is Day in the Sun. That case rattled him because this person too, had put this case against him since they had the primary elections at which he emerged in the state. So this was an internal struggle, I'm happy for him. A lot of people are happy for him in the States. He's been able to wriggle his way out of it. But this is also looking at, will APC still fight him? Because APC still said they were going to go to court. I don't know if they're still going to go to court, after the result of the election was declared. But when you look at things now, there's pretty much, nothing, no traction they can pull as regards that because they said they were going to interrogate the result and put out a court case. But we've not heard anything very concrete as regards that. So we'll see how all of this pans out. But what is incumbent on him? Now he has the victory. Hope after 1 year, the Osun people will not have to regret voting Adeleke. Because that's what I'm concerned about. Because you see, to have euphoria around voting a leader is not a problem. In 2015, a lot of Nigerians celebrated voting in President Muhammadu Buhari. But today, the question is that same excitement and celebration still there? That's a big question. And what we should interrogate is that why is it that leaders, when they emerge in Nigeria, everybody is so excited, but 2, 3, 4 years down the line, they are not as excited as they used to be on day one? Is it as a result of time? Is that the result of those leaders not, actually doing the things they said they'll do? Is it as a result of the understanding many years down the line that, according to the words of Mario Cuomo, politicians were just campaigning in poetry? And when they saw the pros of governance, it was difficult for them to execute. Whatever it is, might be the case. The people must always have the best part of the bargain. Osun people should be better for voting in Adeleke. So the mantle has fallen on Adeleke. Hope the Osun people will not have a need to complain again 1, 2, 3 years down the line. Hope their lives will be better. The government house in Abere is to be able to bring succor and hope and possibility to the Osun people.